Thank you for watching. I wanted to create a video about what I consider to be some of the biggest mistakes that SimCity Buildit players are making. And I know I used to make them until someone explained to me what I was doing wrong or why. I didn't know these things, so maybe if I put it up in a video, it'll help somebody else. In my opinion, there are 5 of the biggest mistakes. I'm sure there's a lot more, but I'm going to focus on the first 5 that I think are the biggest and most important to be aware of. So first of all, let's talk about advertising and what exactly advertising is. If you go to your Trade Depot, I'm going to open my Trade Depot here. If you go to your Trade Depot, I like to keep a full depot. We're pretty close to full for my club members to have access to buy stuff. Scroll over until you find a box and create a new sale. That immediately opens you up to your storage inventory, and you can click on any item you want to sell, whether it's minerals or plastic or whatever. You can scroll down, etc. But the important key thing here is, what is advertising and what does it do for you, and when is it good and when is it bad? Down on the bottom right of this create sale box, you'll see the put on sale button, and just above it, it says advertise for 12 hours, and there's a little blue box with the world symbol, which means the global market, and then there's a check mark in the box. And when that check mark is there, the item gets advertised, and what that means is it gets put up on the global market. Instead of just being something that your club members can see, it gets put up on the global market, so a certain percentage of the people in the game will be able to see it. I don't know exactly how SimCity figures out who is going to be able to see items on the global market. I believe, based on the fact that I always see the same city names over and over and over when I try to buy stuff on the global market, that maybe you're pocketed into a group of other cities and all those cities get to see each other on the global market. I'm not sure. Sometimes I see new city names, but I know for simplest terms that when you advertise on the global market, and we're just going to use this as the way to reference it, even though it may not be 100% accurate, everyone in the game can have access to your depot because it's put on the global market. So if you have 10 items for sale, let's say, and you put up an 11th one and you advertise it, or you forget and it becomes advertised because you didn't uncheck mark the box, then in essence, that's the same as having all items in your depot advertised, because even just one item that's advertised lets everybody in the game, potentially, have access to your depot. It goes on the global market. So whoever sees the global market, whoever is on there looking, has the potential to see your item that's for sale, and therefore they can come to your depot. And once they're in there, they can buy any item that you have for sale, with the exception of war items, because those are specifically limited to club members only. Although, if you're not in a club at all, then anyone else that's not in the club can see your war items for sale, for whatever that's worth. So how do we know when to advertise, and what do we do about advertising? Well, if you want to sell stuff just to club members, make sure that every single item in your depot is not advertised. And it's a simple way to do it. You just click that little box until the check mark goes away. Boom. If you want to advertise, make sure the check mark is there. Now, the default option is to have the item advertised. So you have to make sure, if you only want to sell to club members, if you don't want anything advertised, if you don't want other players in the game to have access to your depot, you have to take that check mark off. Pretty simple. But if you don't know it, your item can get purchased by anybody else in the game. And I've seen a lot of club members say, hey, I put that up for you. You said you wanted this item. It's up for sale. And then all of a sudden you go there to buy it and it's not there. And you're like, what's going on? They're like, oh, somebody else bought it. Well, that's because probably, they advertise the item. It's also a possibility that they have other friends on their friend bar that have access to the depot, but that's a different story. So when is it good to advertise? If you want to make money, if you're not trying to sell just to your club members, click advertise. You do have to realize you can only advertise one item every minute without having to spend SimBucks. The first item is free, then there's a little timer that comes up, and you have to wait 1 minute before you can advertise again for free. So if you want to advertise every single item in your depot, unless you want to spend SimBucks to do it, you have to wait 1 minute in between clicking on the advertise or putting up the item for sale. Now, once you do have an item advertised, I've got a lot of items here. Let's focus on the baseball caps, top left corner. If you click on that item and you decide, hey, I want to advertise this now, you can put the check mark in there, and when you close the edit sale box, that item will be advertised. It will go up on the global market. Now, I don't want to advertise it, so I'm taking that check mark back off. And one other final thought, since we're here, on the bottom of this edit sale window, you see the red button, and there's a trash can on it, and then there's the symbol with the one SimBuck. And what that does, if you push that, is it destroys the item. It does not give it back to you. It takes it out of sale, takes it out of your depot, but it destroys the item. And whether you have just one item or whether you have a stack of up to 5, everything is destroyed, and it costs you 1 SimBuck to do it. So that's what that red button is, just in case you didn't know. Now, I am not checked marked, I'm not advertised, so I'm closing it, and now all my items are still unadvertised. The only people that can see them are club members or people on my friend bar, but the only people on my friend bar, aside from Daniel, are club members. So no one can access my depot other than people in my club. That is what advertising is. The second thing that I want to touch on that I think people don't understand, or mistakes that they make, is when you're in a war. I'm currently in a war. You want to do the war supplies, and you want to do your deliveries so that you can get items so that you can make attacks, presuming that you're in a war and you want to do the war. But let's say you come up to an item that you don't want, and you're not worried about getting it for club members, and either it's cost prohibitive, there's just too much required for it, you can't find the items, or you just don't want the item. What do? Do you just sit there and leave it there until you can get the items? No. This is a pair of pliers. You can see here pliers, and just to the top right of that picture is an X. If you click on that X, now in this case we get a confirmation screen, it says request a new delivery. And you can say, yes, I want to request a new delivery. And what that will do is it will cancel out this war delivery, and the next, let's X out of here, the next item on the list, which in this case is an anvil, will cycle up and become available for delivery or sale or whatever you want to call it, so that you can collect it. It will be available in 5 minutes time. Now, right this particular minute, there's nobody available, clubmate wise, to assist me in getting couches, and I just can't find couches on the global market. And I do want pliers, but it's just not worth my time to wait to get pliers. So I'm going to X out of this. Boom. Request a new delivery. You will lose any items you have already packed. Now, what does that mean? Well, if I thought that I was going to do the delivery and I clicked on the pack button to pack the items up and get them ready to send away so I could get the item for the war, all those items are used and gone. I do not get them back if I cancel a sale. So don't pack up the items unless you're sure you really want it, or you'll lose them if you cancel a sale. So again, I'm going to click X. Do I want a new delivery? Accept. And the anvil, it shows in 4 minutes and 56 seconds now, it will be available for sale. And it tells you what the items are that you need. So now I know I need cheese and concrete along with the grass that I already have if I want to get the anvil. So that's the second mistake that I think people are making. The third one, and this is going to deal with war as well. We're going to go over here to the war screen, is not using your energy efficiently. Every 15 minutes, unless you're in the last 2 hours, you regenerate 1 energy. And if your energy bar gets up to 12, the timer stops. You don't regenerate any more energy, and you sit there. And that is losing potential to gain points. So obviously we have to sleep sometime, and there's going to be times when your energy bar is going to fill up. But during the course of the day, if you're not active enough and you only come on once or twice with big time frames in between your login, then your energy bar is going to be full, and it's going to have been full for a while. And that's lost potential on gaining points. If you don't use your energy by the time it hits 11, then you're not using it efficiently. If it goes to 12, even if it's just for a couple seconds, you've lost potential to gain points. And that's a mistake. If you want to win a war, if you want to help your team, if you want to get the chest rewards and do the best you can, energy efficiency is where it's at. Obviously, having the items you need and using the best attacks possible is also important. The 2 best attacks, in my opinion, in the game are Movie Monster, and Disco Twister. And right this particular second, because I do have 6 energy, it's about to cycle up to 7, I am going to use Disco Twister. So let's go to Second Valley, because this is a somewhat inactive opponent, and we're not trying to shield anybody right now. So I'm going to use my 6 energy and pop out a Disco Twister there. And let's see what the score is now. I am currently in the lead with 3,600 points, and we are currently, as a club, in the lead with 12,000 to their 7,000. So we're doing pretty good. And I've used my energy, so now, again, you get energy at 1 point regenerated every 15 minutes. So that's 4 points an hour. In 3 hours, your energy bar fills up. So I know that within the next 3 hours, I need to come back and use energy again. And again, ideally, the most efficient way is to use it at 11 points or less. Depending on which attack I want to use, I want to try to maximize my energy efficiency. That is one of the biggest keys to winning a war. Alright, so that is taken care of. Now let's go to what I consider the 4th biggest mistake. And what that is, we'll get out of this screen here. What that is collecting specialty items. I understand everybody wants to collect specialty items. Of course you do. You want to increase your storage. You want to increase your land space. You want to increase your beach. Maybe. You want to increase your mountain. Maybe. Beach and mountain are the least important, but they're still important because they do offer you the advantage of getting population boost. But of those 4 specialty items, what I'm seeing a lot of players do is collect more than one at the same time. And unless your storage is maxed out, and I know it used to be maxed at 500 prior to the war, I'm not sure what it's at now. I've been told 650, but I've never actually got confirmation on that. But unless your storage is maxed out, if you're trying to collect multiple types of expansion items at the same time, you're really just clogging up your storage, which is not good because you need to have space in your storage facility to be able to buy items that you need, or items that your club member needs, or items that you make, or items, for whatever reason that you have to have, that you've produced or that you're buying, you have to have room for them. And if you don't have room, why make the problem worse by trying to collect more than one specialty item at a time? So if you're trying to expand, whatever it is, let's say you want to expand land, focus on just collecting dozer parts. Sure, you may get some storage or beach or mountain items, but sell them. Don't collect everything at once. All you're doing is filling up your storage and making the game more difficult for yourself. And that's not good. Focus on one particular type of expansion, collect only that, sell everything else to your club members or on the global market. And when you're done with that particular expansion, you can do it again or you can move to a different kind. Personally, I like to do my storage probably 2 or 3 times in a row and then maybe collect land somewhere in there. I'll switch in or out and do a beach or a mountain. But the beach and the mountain I'm almost done with and I'm not really too concerned about it. My focus is primarily storage because that's the most important. You need to have storage. Everybody complains, I don't have enough storage, I don't have room. But they're not collecting storage items to expand their storage. Focus on one particular thing. A lot of times it should be your storage. Once you're done with that, move on to something else. Sell everything else that you get. That's my recommendation. I think it's a mistake to try to collect more than one particular type of storage item at the same time. Last thing, leveling. People say, oh, leveling, oh, I got to get up to the next level. I got to get the next production item. I've got to get, more factories, whatever. This is the only game I've ever seen where, in my opinion, leveling is a bigger negative than it is a positive. And why do I say that? I say that because, in my opinion, you may not play it, but the Contest of Mares is one of the biggest aspects of the game. And I like to have SimBucks. I like to win SimBucks, and you can find them for free too. But I like to win SimBucks, and in order to win, you've got to place high in the contest. In this particular case, in the Megalopolis League, first place is 2,000, and if it was during a season, you would also get an extra 2,000 as a season bonus. And that prize, even for all the way up to 6th place, is still 500, which isn't too bad at all. Now, it drops down significantly to 25 once you're 7th place, which kind of sucks. But getting 500 SimBucks or 1,000 SimBucks or 2,000 SimBucks is really helpful because you have to spend them to do stuff. And who wants to pay cash if you don't have to? So you want to do well in the Contest of Mares. But the problem is, as you level up in the Contest of Mares, let's look at the different levels of all these players. You'll notice that the person in first place is 57, second place is 58, and you'll notice that I am level 56. I'm down here at rank 16, but I've got several assignments to go yet, plus I haven't even used any golden tickets. So you get paired up with people that are either at your level or within 1 or 2 points usually of your level. Now, at the very first contest of a season, that's a lot different. You do have a much more bigger range, but you get paired up with people about your level, and as you level up, you consistently get placed against players that have been in the game longer, they have more experience, and chances are pretty good they're going to use SimBucks, and a lot of them, to try to do well in the contest. And if you're not using a lot of SimBucks, or if you're not experienced as they are, or if you're not as active as they are, you're automatically at a disadvantage and you're not going to do so well in the contest. When you're level 30, 31, 33, 35 even, the opponents, the other people that you're competing against in the contest, may be as experienced as you are. They may be spending a lot of cash, but there's a lot more likelihood that they are not long-term players that spend a lot of SimBucks. And so when you're lower level, it's easier to do well in the contest. For that reason, and that reason only, leveling really sucks. But there's also the second side effect that when you level, you get new product. For example, I don't remember the level I got it at, but you get cheeseburgers, and then you get, you get microwaves, you get popcorn, all those different things as you level up. But what that does is it allows you to see it, and it also requires you to need it for residential upgrades or disaster repairs or boat or plane cargo deliveries or whatever. But it clogs up or I call it clogs up, the global depot, the global market, the global trade market. It clogs it up with all those items. If I wasn't a high enough level to see TVs or cheese fries or cheeseburgers, they wouldn't show up. And then it would be a lot easier to find the items that I usually really want and need. And so leveling gives you extra items, but those items really aren't useful. So you do wind up needing them, for whatever you're doing, but only because you've reached that level. Until you've reached that level, you don't ever need them, and you don't ever see them. And granted, you can't help club members who might need that item because you can't produce it or buy it. But it makes everything more difficult as far as purchasing things on the global market. So again, in my opinion, if you can avoid leveling, you're better off. People that say it's so great to level, I can understand there are some benefits. They far and away do not warrant actually leveling. Not in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off now. Thank you for watching. If this was helpful, I really hope that you enjoyed it and you get something out of it. Feel free to click like or leave a comment saying so. But even more importantly, if there was something you didn't like, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know, not only that you didn't like it, but why. Because if I don't know why, if you just say this was stupid, it doesn't let me understand why. So tell me if you don't like something, that you don't like it, but also tell me why, please. So in future videos, I can do better. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you all do very well in the game.